In Cannes, I have none other than Nandita Das, who's a director and an actress. She joins us now. Thank you so much. How are you?
Thanks. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Enjoying the lovely sunshine?
Yes, well, we are used to it. So, it's the Europeans who are like loving it. And as you can see, they're all on the beach now.
Not us, though. We're busy working. So tell us why you're in Cannes.
I'm here as a director, so that's the hat I'm wearing right now. And I'm here with a project on Manto, this amazing writer of the 40s. Pakistanis say that he's a Pakistani writer and the Indians say he's an Indian writer. So I want to make sure that there is a sense of shared ownership of this project. Well, I say he's actually a South Asian writer. I never, in fact, even when I introduce him, I never say he's an Indian or a Pakistani. I say he's a South Asian writer. And I think he'd be great for our countries also to come closer. He'd be the perfect conduit.
No, it's interesting because you talk about Saadat Hasan Manto, who's obviously maybe from Pakistan or India. Now, we have a couple of Pakistani films here who are trying to promote themselves. What do you feel about Pakistani cinema breaking in internationally? It doesn't have the same presence as India does.
Yeah, because I think the Pakistani industry took quite a bit of beating in the last 30 years. I believe used to make really amazing films early on, and then I think there's been a revival. There's a lot of good talent. I've met many of them. I've seen some of the work, but they all have been sort of stuck in television. And I think this revival is great. So, there are stories everywhere. Everybody has a right to break out to the world and tell their stories, and especially as we know, the things that have been happening in Pakistan, that it has been defamed as only the country where, you think of Pakistan and you think as if everyone's a terrorist. So I think it would be great to be able to see different stories coming out of Pakistan. And, there are always multiple stories, and to change the usual stereotypical narrative. So, yeah, I'd be all for it.
And you've always actually touched upon Pakistan and India, not just India purely. Why is that?
Well, because I just find basically any kind of perceived animosity a thing which cannot be good. Anything that kind of divides us is foolish. We've had enough of that. Even the partition. Imagine it was the biggest mass migration ever in history. Millions of people died. Women were raped, looting. These are tragedies of our times. If you're not going to learn from it, then we are foolish, right? And we are similar in so many ways that if we actually could have a more friendly relationship, it would benefit all, and it would most importantly benefit the people. So I think anything that brings us closer, I'm always for it. I've been part of many initiatives that have been Indo-Pak initiatives, South Asian initiatives. So yeah, this is one little effort towards it.
And you sat in Cannes as a jury member. What's that been like?
Wonderful, and I've been very fortunate that I was twice on jury, in 2005 in the main jury and in 2013 in the short film and Cine Fondation, which is student films from film schools. So I've been very, very fortunate to have those experiences because, films, you can see great films anywhere, you can even watch them on your TV screen and watch them on video, etc. But what you can't do is to deliberate on films with amazing minds. So what I've really enjoyed is the discussions, the deliberations after screenings, that you'd sit with your other jurors. Like in 2005, I had Toni Morrison, the great sort of Nobel writer for literature. We had Salma Hayek, Javier Bardem, Serbian director Emir Kusturica, and John Woo, the action director. So we had such a bunch of eclectic group of people, amazing in their own fields, and to be able to sit and discuss. Jane Campion was the jury president for the short film. So I think these experiences widen one's own horizon, your own understanding of cinema, and through that of life.
And what do you look in films? For example, if you wanted an Indian film or a Pakistani film to come here, what is it that you look in them?
I think the more authentic and local you are, and yet with sort of global understanding and sensibilities, and finally human emotions are universal. That's why we can watch a Taiwanese or a Korean or a Spanish or a Japanese film and yet relate to it. Why do we relate to it? Because we may not understand every nuance of it or every context of it, but we understand the stories, we understand the journeys of the characters, their emotions, because those are universal. Even Firak, the film that I directed, I thought it was not going to go to any festival, and thankfully I was wrong, because it traveled to 50 festivals, premiering in Toronto, and in every festival the questions and the reactions were so similar. that this whole thing got sort of reaffirmed that human stories are universal. So I would want more local, more layered, more textured, more authentic stories from our countries, and give them a variety, because there is no one India or one Pakistan. Our countries are complex. I mean, India for sure, I can say more about it because I know it a little more, is that it's a very, very diverse country. And if we can truly tell those diverse stories and not sort of box it that this is what India is.
Sure.
Like sometimes people here, I'm not here, but in general are more exposed to what they think is Bollywood cinema.
Yeah.
And they think that is what India is. And surely it's as far from reality as it can be. So I do hope that we will be able to bring in our authentic stories to the world.
But as a director, you've touched on films that are very different from most directors, and I think you and Deepa Mehta stand apart from other directors in the film industry. Do you see Pakistan and India's film coming on the big red carpet? Are we going to see that happening?
Why not? I mean, we already have 2 films here in Cannes this year in the Uncertain Regard, which is Masan and Chauthi Koot, and they are being really appreciated. And although we haven't had really in the main section for I think our last 21 years, so that's been a long time.
That's a challenge for you guys.
It is a challenge, and it's not always because we don't make good films, or there are lots of sort of ways of, in the sense, not every filmmaker knows how to reach also a big festival, so sometimes you don't see the best film here and you say, my God, that small film that I saw back home in India was actually better than this one. So there are many factors, but yes, we make 1,000 films. We better make good films as well. Quantity is not all that we want. We want to make quality films, and I think the move towards that has begun. There are a lot of young directors who are making amazing films now and are really breaking that sort of barrier of just being seen as an Indian film, but also as a global film.
And what are the factors? You said there were factors. What are the factors in that? Factors for the fact that these films perhaps are not getting that recognition. I mean, they're coming here, they're getting to a certain regard, but they haven't quite made it there. What do you think the factors are?
Well, there's no real logic to it. I think Indian films per se has got a certain stamp. It's been seen in a certain way. And I think people who select also need to open their minds. The people who are there we need to make better films. We need to find ways of also reaching here. So that I think like something like NFDC, which has been rather active in the last few years, but in every country that you go to, you find a lot of the times that the government is pushing their filmmakers, is finding ways, is helping them. We don't have enough support systems. So when a young filmmaker makes it, he or she has to struggle with the distribution, with marketing, all of that. And sometimes the small indie films don't have enough money for marketing, because some of these big films, they spend more on marketing than the production of the films. So we need to also help each other a little more, I think.
So what do you feel about independent filmmaking then?
Well, independent films are very, very important, but independent films often don't get the kind of space, especially in our countries. Why are we complaining about the world when we in our own countries don't give them that space? In India, it's still the mainstream cinema that occupies much of this space. So when a small film, when an indie film comes in, and it still has to fight for the same hoardings, the same space of advertisements in newspapers and television, it is a tough battle to fight. So, and we don't have enough good producers. And we've kind of undermined so directors end up producing it. And it can be very exhausting. I did that for my first film, because it wasn't a great producer, and then I just ended up doing everything. But that's not what a director is meant to be. A good producer should allow the director to, work on the script and work on the shooting and work on the post-production and put their energies in the creative side. So I hope good new producers will also, be trained and will sort of support this kind of cinema.
Hopefully. And now that you're working on this new film, do you think this might make it to Cannes? And supporting the Pakistani community as well?
Well, when you want to make a good film, you just want to make a good film, right? I mean, whether it's Cannes or Berlin or Venice or Toronto, of course one would want it to be seen on a big platform, because what it does is open doors for sales agents to take notice of it, for media to take notice of it, especially when I don't imagine it to have a huge marketing budget. But it is a big film. It's not a very small indie film, because you're recreating Lahore and Bombay of that time. And that's not an easy task, of the 40s. You're recreating real life characters. So it's going to be a challenging film, but very exciting. The story is extremely compelling, even though its period has great resonance to today's times, because Manto really fought for freedom of expression. His concerns about women, especially those on the margins of society, are very much a concern what we are dealing with things today. And I do believe that every person wants to be more courageous, more outspoken. So in some ways Manto provides a kind of a mirror of our own longings. So I do hope that it makes it to a nice big platform so that more and more people can see around the world as well, and know about our writers and artists. We know a lot more about the West than they know about us.
Very, very true. And that's beautifully said.